radio page. What does that mean?
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm going to try and do this without, laughing my head off. But welcome to Prepper Chicks After Dark. It is Tuesday, December the 9th, 2014. And we've been cutting it up pretty bad in the little chat room going on. But, hey, we're here. We're here to play some Conflicted live. And ready to get down and mean. And JD, you're making much noise.
Me?
Yeah, you.
What kind of noise?
I can't hear anything. And I'm echoing now.
Can you hear me?
I can, but we're live, so welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
So why are we here? We're here to drink alcohol and play Conflicted, the survival card game. And what is that, you ask? Oh, I'm glad you did ask. It's a deck of cards, 52 cards total, and it's a series of questions that you can open dialogue, open conversations with people in your prepping group to get inside their heads and figure out what they would do in certain situations. Right now, JD, you have 4 decks out, correct?
Yes.
How's that working for you?
You know, not as bad. It's not as good as it looks, but it's still good.
So you guys hear that? Get out there and make your purchases. Where would they do such a thing?
I know. They can go to conflictedgame.com/prepperchicks and buy it through our website.
Works for me.
We also have, what's that?
Said it works for me.
Oh yes, and we also have something really cool that we came out with called the Founding Fathers playing cards, which is just a regular deck of playing cards, but it has quotes from the Founding Fathers on government, Second Amendment, liberty, and self-reliance. You know, just philosophies of life that are lost, that people don't talk about anymore. So we wanted to make a little deck of playing cards. Maybe that would be, a way to approach people who are not ready for Conflicted.
Yeah,
so.
That and a 2x4. So
Thanks, Salty Dog.
Yeah, 2 decks out of the original. Then you have 2 decks out right now based one off of G. Michael Hoff's series and then one off of Angry American that just came out here just a couple weeks ago. So if you haven't gotten deck 4, get out there and pick it up. Great Christmas stocking stuffers, guys. Hint, hint, hint. So get out there and get them. So back with us tonight, the one and only Geek Prepper. How are you tonight?
I am so glad to be here. I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. Did you get any of that snow hitting the East Coast right now?
I did not. I've got a buttload of rain, but no, not freezing yet. So
define a buttload of rain.
It is actually a real word. I can't remember what it meant, but I saw it on MythBusters, and a buttload, I'm sure someone can Google it up, is a real measuring term. It is 14 tons, I believe it is. How's that?
That's a big butt.
That is, hey, I like big butts, and I will not lie.
All righty. It's going to be an interesting night. Alika's back with us tonight. Yay! We've heard from Alika for quite a while now.
Yeah, I'm in the process of getting out of the People's Republic of New York, so I'll be on and off for a little bit until I get settled. But as always, I am with SHTFready.com. We are a prepping forum that discusses how to prep and survive. We keep the alphabet soup agency theories out, and we focus on the important bits. You heard of the ant and the grasshopper story? We teach you to be the ant.
Did you stay up all night coming up with that? That was pretty impressive.
Good speech, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and we have a special guest tonight, Meow. So with us tonight, and I'll take it easy on him, is the one and only Freedom Preppers. Welcome to the show. Where'd he go?
He's lapping a saucer of milk.
The NSA got him.
They already got him.
The NSA already got him. Oh, my goodness.
Unmute.
Hold up. Am I on now?
You are.
You broke the
There we
air.
go.
You know, I can't help but remember the sign that you can't fix stupid, and I'll just put that behind my head during tonight's show.
I'm not going to say anything.
I'm the smartest mentally challenged person I know. Well, here's the thing about stupid people. They don't know they're stupid, so you can't fix them.
Amen. Amen. Nor would we want to. If not, we wouldn't have a whole lot to make fun of, would we?
I know. I'll be an easy target, trust me. So thank you for having me on. It's great to be with you guys. I know all of you all from Facebook and Twitter. It's an honor to let freedompreppers.com be represented tonight.
Awesome. Glad to
Great
have you. And come back anytime. Maybe.
Sure.
We'll see if you last through the night.
Yeah, if I don't get booted off by my own doings.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just don't cuss. Jules will get mad. And big shout out to Jules for letting us crack up here on UCY.tv. Without her, it would not be possible.
Thanks, Jules.
She's probably hiding under the table saying, oh no, I don't know these people.
As she should.
Yeah. All right, so who's ready for their first card?
I got it.
Go for it.
Morgan always made sure he had a get-home bag with him wherever he went. In case a disaster struck and he couldn't get home through modern conventional means, the contents of this bag would help him get back to his family safe and sound from anywhere in the country. Do you take a special get-home bag with you when you travel? What are some of the items you include in it and why?
That
and
is-
if not, why not?
That's hilarious. That's the first card I have up, too.
It's a good card.
It is. So, get home bag, bug out bag, whatever you want to call it. JD, do you carry one around? Do you travel a lot?
I carry a very small one.
A man purse.
It's actually a fanny pack. No, just kidding. It's
I can
it's
see
a
you
bag.
doing that.
No, I have the basics: a knife, a way to make some fire, and I have one of those Mylar blankets in there. I have a little straw to purify water with. It's just something, you know, because I think the rest of everything, you know, if all I'm doing is getting home and I'm not too far, I can either do without or I can find it along the way. I also, one thing that I always have in my car is it's one of those things of water from Costco. I think they cost $4. And they have a bunch of bottles in there. Just put that in the back of your car. I know some people say, oh, the sun is going to bake the plastic into the water and you're going to get cancer. Well, that's fine.
We all
At
die
least,
sometime.
I won't die of thirst. So,
Okay. Geek,
those are
what?
some of the things I have.
Geek, what do you do?
I actually have a small, one of my old computer nerd backpacks in the back of my car. It's just got like a cold steel Bushman knife in it. It's real low end. A cold steel shovel, which is a great shovel or a bad weapon. A military poncho, so you know, rainwear / shelter. A couple lighters, a headlamp, Mylar blanket, a Sawyer Mini or a Life Straw, and then one of those steel canteen cups you get at the surplus store. And then I also have like a 48 pack of bottled water from Costco or Sam's Club, whatever, in my trunk, and that's usually it for summer. And then winter, I usually throw an extra pair of boots, and then one of those military sleep systems with like 4 bags in one.
We're all a bunch of rebels with the water in the back of our vehicles.
I know. They're going to get us.
So you change your bug-out bag that's in your vehicle by season?
I add to it for like winter, because I do travel a lot, and I don't want to get stuck in the mountains somewhere and not have some warmth. So I add the sleeping bag and the boots, because dress shoes kind of blow in the wintertime.
Do you find that the more educated you are on survival techniques, the less that you carry with you?
Yes, I used.
Hello?
Now.
Geek? Did we lose Geek?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
We can now.
Okay, weird. I didn't do anything. I used to carry a lot more. I think it was too much, so I've taken my bag to a more agile method, because I am smarter. Well, don't ask my wife that, but I am more knowledgeable, I guess, about outdoors and survival. So yeah, I've gone with it's better to move fast than to have a big heavy bag. So I get home faster. I need less stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of the same on the female side. I make fun of this all the time, because my oldest is 26, and when he was a baby, I carried the biggest diaper bag you can imagine. I mean, it had everything in there that I could possibly, even just to run out to the store or something. It was with me. My youngest, who's 14 now, I was lucky if I took a spare diaper with me. So I think, the more mature you become as a prepper, the less items sometimes you carry with you. Alika, what do you got going on in your pouch?
Well, I use the gray man approach. I try to keep the bags small and simple, flat black, nothing fancy camo, anything. And it's just basically used to supplement my EDC bag that I have. I've got a good size pocket knife, another multi-tool, 3 MREs, 3 bottles of water, and matches, work gloves, and a boonie cap. And basically it's just the bare minimums to keep myself alive and able to go straight to the house. Of course, I got the Mylar and everything. If I need to set up an impromptu shelter, I can. And the one item I need to get is a water key. I think walking
a what?
A water key. The faucet keys.
Gotcha.
Because I think I wouldn't be stuck out in the boonies. I'd probably be stranded in a city environment. So walking through the industrial complex or metropolitan areas, I think, or just regular neighborhoods, I could probably get water that way instead of having to lug it around.
Oh, definitely.
Trying to make it home.
Awesome. Good information there about the water key, definitely. Freedom, we're going to have to come up with a nickname for you.
Just call me Free. Think about, we all believe in self-reliance. And when you're truly self-reliant, then you're truly free. If you don't have to rely upon any governmental services or any third parties, that's where true freedom comes in.
And do you think that's honestly possible in the United States?
Well, they don't want you to have 100% self-reliance. And those of us who try get ridiculed routinely, but you just have to pull up your big boy pants and ignore everyone and do what you need to do to make your life that way. And that's where we're different from a lot of folks, because we don't have to go anywhere if we don't want to. Everything that we purchase virtually is online. We go into town once a month. It's 45 miles to the nearest big town, which is Crossville, Tennessee. and we go into town once a month. We get all the supplies and things we need, and then we come back. So, yes, we have bug out bags and everyday carry bags and things of that sort, but we only use them one time a month, really.
Do you have a checking account, Social Security number, and all that lovely stuff too?
Years ago, we established a number of corporations for our businesses, and we have one corporation which is the primary receiver of our funds from our websites, and from there we pay bills and everything out of that, and our socials are not tied to it. So we're very fortunate that when we established that account, it's been 17 years now, we have never had an issue. So we're as far off the grid as you can get. We don't rely upon any type of governmental benefits, all of those things.
I guess I should have told you the NSA pings us all the time, so you might be getting a visitor here soon.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, we think about those things too, but I hope that they have more important things to deal with than little old me.
I would hope so. Did you guys see that Greece took a nosedive today? The lowest the stock market has declined for them ever.
There's so many potential economic catastrophes. If you look at the top 10 economies and nations in the world that are in such trouble, when you look at places like Italy and Greece, Japan is on the verge of collapse, and I don't think most people are even discussing that.
Actually, we were earlier. Venezuela, we were putting bets on who was going to be next, so we figured, Greece, then Venezuela, then probably Japan.
The next economic collapse, and 2008 had the potential to be even worse than it was.
Yeah.
But the next one is we're going to fall so hard it's going to make people's heads spin, and that's where financial self-reliance. You do the best you can, because a lot of folks have to have a job and rely upon an employer, and they're going to, it always it makes you pucker a little bit.
Well, they'll call us crazy then too, so we're just practicing right now.
Well, we're all committed preppers, because I know you guys, even though I've never met you in person. I follow you. I look at your websites. And we know that there's a whole lot worse that can happen to us than a hurricane or a blizzard or a riot in St. Louis. We're preparing for things that are beyond the average person's comprehension. And that's what a committed prepper does. To me, it's insurance. I know you guys probably agree. There are people who pay for homeowners insurance in case a tornado hits them, and they never, ever file a claim. I hope I never, ever have to file a claim for all of my preps. But when that time comes, I'll have the comfort of knowing I'm ready.
Well, it's hard to ignore it when you see the storm clouds coming, especially most of you guys that I know follow the news, and we follow what's going on out there and with the economy and with other governments and stuff, because, like you said, with a hurricane, you see the storm clouds before you feel the rain. So
plenty of warning on a tornado or on a hurricane, plenty of warning on a blizzard, plenty of warning on a Ferguson, Missouri riot. But an economic collapse can come so suddenly that it's going to be hard to get some people to get their ducks in a row.
Yeah. Yep, it will. But, okay, let's go to something more depressing. So, anybody have the next card? Here we go. Weeks after society collapsed, and this is from Angry Americans deck. Weeks after society collapsed, the lack of utilities and comforts of everyday life turned cities into death traps. Where would you bug out to if cities as we know them today were no longer safe and habitable? Where do you think everyone else in the same situation will go? So, I know we've got some East Coast and some West Coast preppers here tonight. I'm kind of in the middle of both of you. Oh, look, it's a prepper chick sandwich. Anyways, so that was bad.
Oh my.
JD, you're on the West Coast. What do you got going on out there? What makes you nervous?
Well, when Russia and China do their surveillance flights, this is where they come.
To your house?
to California, where I live, because what an easy place to get to. Geographically, what an easy place to penetrate militarily, I believe, because the very few people here have the mentality that they need to be able to defend themselves, against harm and be self-sufficient. Anybody who's been to San Francisco can tell you, if an army rolls through there, nobody's going to put up a resistance, none of the locals. So an invasion through this coast here is definitely on my mind. It's something that worries me. I also have the San Andreas fault line that shakes things around from time to time. If something were to happen and I had to bug out, I would probably move out of the state. I would not stick around here. I just think this would be way too hot of a place.
What would it take? What would it take you to load up your family and leave?
I think a foreign invasion would do it.
You think it would be too late?
By
the time their troops hit the ground, would it be too late?
Well, I wouldn't wait that long. Like maybe another Pearl Harbor.
I was going to say, do you think if a foreign country invaded us, would it be boots on the ground, airstrikes first? What do you think?
I think it would have to be nukes first, I think. I think the countries today, they're so powerful. I think any of them can win. Of course, the U.S. military is huge. We spend a lot of money. But the weapons are so powerful. I think whoever hits first and the hardest will probably win. So
if you were going to nuke the United States, where would you hit first?
Let me see. Probably, I'll say New York City, just because the population density and the psychological factor. I think that would be.
You wouldn't go after military bases or something like that first? Because I've been in New York quite a few times. My husband's family lives there. I wouldn't worry about half the people in New York City, quite honestly.
I think that place has more of a shock factor because it's such a well-known place, around the world, especially after 9/11.
So you think they'd shock and awe us first?
Yeah, but I think if we were in a full-scale invasion, we'd be hit from so many different sides.
Yeah.
The first thing that'll probably happen, the satellites will go out.
Knock communication out.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be the first,
So a localized EMP?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, that is the most logical way to go, for any country. Even if the U.S. were to invade somewhere else, you got to take out the communications.
Yeah. Freedom, you were talking about EMPs. What do you think?
I believe if we were to be attacked, they would lead with an EMP looking for massive power outages around military installations. I would hope that they would avoid nuclear attack because we would have enough offshore to retaliate, and then you have the mutual destruction issue. I think an EMP is a much bigger threat to us, and they would just do it out of spite. I don't know that they would ever consider invading the United States. It'd be quite a battle.
Yeah, but where are all of our offshore guys? Are they in the Middle East right now? And how long would it take for them to get home?
Well, see, we have bases all over the world, as well as nuclear-armed submarines that are posted all over the world. We have a sufficient fighting force offshore.
But we have China and Russia both coming at us?
It would be awesome. It would be a massive potential destruction to our country. And the only thing you have to hope for is what would they stand to gain by doing so. That's the only thing that I hope that would avoid such a conflict is what would they have to gain by destroying the United States.
Well, China owns most of us, so
correct.
They would have nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they would lose a lot of money. I believe that if anything, you have countries that are jealous and North Korea, Iran, Syria, China, Russia, and through cyber attacks and possible an EMP attack, they would do what they needed to do to bring us to our knees simply because they want to see us knocked down a peg or two.
Okay, do you think they're going to come after us first, or will they go after Israel first? Because right now my money's on Israel. I'm thinking Iran's going to get nukes, blow up Iraq, Turkey's going after Egypt, and then it's on.
And then Pakistan jumps in because of what their concerns are. That's very likely the Middle East would be the start of the powder keg. And you can feel it now. I mean, look at the news.
Yep, there's not much to lose anymore. Everybody's just to the point where they're just fed up. Alika, what do you think?
I got two concerns, especially, well, right now being on the East Coast, would be the nuclear reactors. I think my tri-county or tri-state area is surrounded by like 4 or 5, I think. They're pretty well secure, but nothing's ever secure for a terrorist attack. And what Freedom was saying, as well as an EMP attack too, or just wanton destruction of the power grid. I mean, somebody whacks into a telephone pole on a Saturday night, you could knock out the whole grid for an entire zip code if you hit the right one. So, I mean, our system's weak.
When was that? Were you on the East Coast when we had the blackout like 10 years ago?
No, I wasn't, but I remember that was big news for quite a while.
Yeah, because we had just moved from Cleveland down to southern Ohio and missed it. And then I transferred back up to Cleveland after the power came back on. So I really had nothing to do with it, no matter what anybody says. But I remember my father-in-law talking about, because he lives in Brooklyn, and he was talking about how, we were concerned because you couldn't contact anyone. And he said the nice thing about it was neighbors actually came out of their apartments and were helping each other, bringing out grills and cooking food and having a block party, which is probably what it's going to turn into at first until reality sets in.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all hell's going to break loose.
But, I mean, as far as foreign enemies attacking, I don't see them literally dropping bombs or putting boots on ground on our soil. It would be easier to hit our power grid and watch the destruction take place from within. I mean...
Yeah, we'll take care of our own.
Yeah, how many riots over stupid things destroy cities? And imagine no power. It's just going to happen really, really quickly.
Yeah. Geek, what do you think?
I think EMP would definitely be a lead play. I also think that it doesn't necessarily have to be an EMP attack. I think if there was a sufficient coronal mass ejection and we were impacted, I think you'd see some people make some moves towards us to take advantage of that.
Well, can we actually predict what the sun is going to do?
We can't. I mean, there's people who do watch it and trend it and stuff like that, and we do have some warning, but that warning isn't going to do us a whole lot of good because our infrastructure is terrible. I know some people who have some input or have some insight into the energy sector, and it is just. I mean, we're still running on post World War II, 1940s, 1950s architecture and technology. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah. And anytime the sun starts to act up, we see an increase in, earthquakes and all kinds of lovely stuff here. So It could be anything that would set it off.
Tsunami.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we're kind of all on the same page except for JD, and he's on the West Coast, so, But Salty Dog in the chat room is in Utah, so he can head off anything that gets to California.
Let me bring something up here real quick. What would China have to gain if they were to come after us? I know Freedom said that they would lose a lot of money. I think they already lost that money. I don't think they're going to get it back. It's over $1 trillion, and the U.S. does not have that money to pay them back. all they can hope to do is turn those dollars into gold, which they have been doing.
I was going to say, it's that gold's not here. Was it Denmark and a couple other countries, was it last week or the week before, just took out a shitload of gold out of the United States.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Germany.
Here's my point. I think the true power of the United States is the ability of issuing unlimited fiat currency that people all around the world have to use, or else they'll end up like Gaddafi or Saddam or any of those other guys. So it's unlimited. This is the Midas, dream right here. You can just print as much money as you want, while everybody listening to this call needs to put hard work, create value for somebody, and make someone's life better through work. These guys can just touch a button and create funds out of thin air that will fund whatever account they want for as much as they want. And that never runs out.
So you think China's just going to cut their losses and take out the humans here because they have enough they got to feed over there and can't do it?
Well, what's stopping China from being the country that can issue the next world currency?
Actually, they're already moving.
Yep, it's moving that way. I've seen some stuff in the news about that this week and last week.
Yeah, but do you really think that the U.S. is going to let that go? What do we have to offer, folks? Nothing. We have a deficit in our exports, and we have very intelligent people here, but most of our people culturally have been so altered to just be receivers. We're deep into socialism. There's not a whole lot of producers here that will export what we need, what other people need, so what we can import what we don't make. So I think for China to step in and be the new, world's reserve currency issuer, it would be very easy. That's what happened to the U.S. after World War II.
Do you think
everybody
Russia?
was
just
too destroyed?
Do you think Russia's going to allow that to happen?
I think those two are in bed with each other.
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't they be?
Why would Russia want to be the top dog?
I don't know. Those guys are communists, and I think they'll be content to share power up to an extent to bring a bigger fish down. And then I don't know what they'll do afterwards, but I can see them working together and being happy,
Well, they are in a way, JD, already. If you get a chance, look at the acronym BRICS, BRICS, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America. They've formed an alliance with the intention of getting away from the dollar as the world currency. And China and Russia have been working actively to trade their goods and services for Russian oil and gasoline using other currency besides the dollar. But something that's happened in the last month, everyone's noticed, is the price of oil has dropped dramatically, and the OPEC nations have cooperated with us in allowing that price of oil to drop, and that is crushing the Russian economy and the Russian currency. They cannot allow the price of oil at $50 a barrel because that'll just destroy their economy. So we've done something behind the scenes that's been advantageous, and the dollar has strengthened as a result. Now, how long that will last, I don't know.
Yeah. You're going to get the bear and you're going to starve it, right? That's a great way to do it.
Well,
so, I think they're playing with fire here.
They are, because they're poking the bear. And see, I think the thought is if you bring their economy down, their people will rise up and replace Putin as their leader. But they're missing the fact that it's a very nationalistic sense in Russia right now. And everybody loves Putin. They love what he's doing, Crimea and his actions in Eastern Europe. So what will happen is they will rally behind him if he decides to make a move on us in retaliation for the sanctions and us trying to tank his currency. And then you get the problems like we discussed a little while ago.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the next question so we don't turn this into a political show.
Yeah.
If society... JD, there's a misprint on this one. If modern society were to collapse, what would be your weapons of choice to keep you and your loved ones safe? Would you even need any, and why? So, weapon of choice. Well, I'll give you 3. You can have 3 weapons. What would you pick, Alika?
I would go with probably a 9mm or 40 caliber handgun. Probably any 223 platform rifle, and probably go all Walking Dead and find a crossbow somewhere.
Okay.
I base my arsenal around being able to scavenge the ammunition elsewhere. I like the odd guns, like the 10mm and just the random oddball calibers. But I know that if we did come to a shit hit the fan scenario and ammo's already scarce as it is, you would have a hell of a time trying to find ammo for your high powered rifle that only maybe 1 in every 2,000 people may have.
Yeah, definitely. It's something a lot of people don't think about. Geek, what do you got? 3 things.
Common use, so something like JD said, something in the 9mm, so like the Glock 19, which is a very almost uniform gun across the agencies again. Something 223, so AR-15, M4, M16, something like that. And then definitely something for the long haul. So a bow, probably a simple recurve, nothing too fancy. Something I could restring, make a string for, and I think that would get me by.
Really? No lightsaber or, Doctor Who screwdriver?
Oh, I would, but I got to power that puppy, and, solar's going to be used for radios and lights and stuff, right?
There's not enough solar to go around.
No, there's not, and it's not going to last, right?
What about the magic screwdriver?
Oh, I've got it. Sonic screwdriver is right here beside my psychic paper.
There you go.
What?
JD, 3 things.
Well, my 1911 45 for sure. The crossbow has the advantage of you never running out of ammo, so I'm probably going to go with that as well, even though it's too Daryl Dixon. but I mean, the guy always has something to shoot, and a really good knife. One knife. I used to be a serial knife buyer. I have more knives than I'll ever have a chance to use them all. But my favorite is the Cold Steel Spartan. If you guys are in the market for a knife, check it out. It's solid. It's just awesome. It's probably my best folding knife.
Yeah, Cold Steel makes a good knife. But I know some private knife makers too that can kick butt when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Oh, I can't afford those people, Laurie. People need to buy more conflicted first.
Oh, it's called bartering, sweetheart.
No, I've seen some amazing stuff from guys. They're very talented.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, Freedom, 3 things.
Well, platform-wise, and I agree with JD, 1911 45 caliber with a companion compact for concealed carry. I have AR-15 and the 223 with a companion PLR-16, which is the pistol version of an AR-15. And then my Mossberg 590 Mariner shotgun holds 9 shells, is probably your best home defense weapon.
I have a 22 conversion for my AR too that you can utilize. Then you can use long range and then use it for small game if you have to. But no axe or anything like that.
Yeah, I consider that a bug-out bag item, not a weapon.
Hey, have you guys?
My house.
Have you guys heard of the lever axe?
Yes.
Oh, that thing is amazing, man. I'm going to drop the link here in the chat room. I think a regular axe would have more use because of the edge that it has, but this stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
Chop wood.
SOG makes some pretty nice stuff, too.
Salty what?
SOG.
Oh, yeah. They're
But
pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've seen that thing in action, JD.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
How is it?
I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily buy one, but
it looks pretty cool. Like the way it works, it chops just a little bit of the wood, but then uses the force of the chopping down motion to take the log apart. So you're not necessarily cutting it. You just kind of.
So you would use it on someone's head?
Yeah, like you're splitting somebody's head open with this would be the easiest thing in the world.
Hey, whatever works. I have not seen any of this season's Walking Dead.
Oh, snap.
What?
You haven't seen it?
Not one. I'm waiting.
You're crazy. It's pretty good, you know.
I've
This
heard.
is probably one of the best seasons, because last season kind of sucked, but this one's good.
I'm going to save it for, some time in the future, hopefully. So is having dogs a good idea after the collapse of modern society? If so, what breed would you have? Freedom, what do you think? Having a canine?
Well, our children are English bulldogs, so they're the princesses of the palace, and they're also very vocal when any thing goes on. But if it were up, if we live very rural, I mean, it's a half a mile from the road to our house. If I could do anything, I would probably provide shelter and keep a dog about every 100 yards or so, all the way up the driveway to the road, so that they can be an alarm system for perimeter security, and it could be any kind of mutt there is. I don't care. I'll train it to bark when it needs to.
Alika, what do you think?
I love my dog, but I can't train the thing, and she barks at pretty much anything that walks by. Good alarm system, but can't shut up when I tell her to. So. And
you don't have enough catch-up if you have to eat her? See, where's Chris at when we need him? He'd be eating the dogs.
I was going to get to that. I already told my wife. A zombie apocalypse, I'd eat her just so she could... so I wouldn't have to worry about a barking dog. But no, really, I think an ideal dog for... shit hit the fan scenario would be a lab or a German Shepherd mix dog. I just, in my opinion, they're a lot more easier to train and would actually listen to you.
Yeah, I have a Great Pyrenees, and he's known to bark like all the time. But I would take any dog as long as he was well trained. It wouldn't matter. But training would be key, because you'd have to train him to be quiet, to, stay low, to eat only from you. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Geek, what do you think?
I definitely am a big fan of the dogs. I have some of the same problems. My dog is early warning for any freaking noise or perceived noise he thinks he hears.
Would the Browns almost win a football game on Sunday?
Yeah, anything. I mean, the wind could blow and the dog is like beside himself. Hey, I got this. He's the dumbest dachshund I've ever seen. But I mean, he's made enough noise that he's scared people off, but it's just not really early warning because he never stops barking. So maybe like a Rhodesian Ridgeback or an Airedale, something kind of real territorial. And kind of loyal. But right now I would just have to eat the dog and call it a day and hope I find one along the way.
Oh my goodness.
JD,
what do you think? Dog or no dog?
I think no dog, and here's why. I think dogs are noisy, and they can give you away where you are. Unless there's some kind of a military dog or something,
I've seen some well-trained German Shepherds.
Yeah.
But unless you're going to invest in one of those dogs, and if you're going to go to Petco, and pick up a pooch, I don't think it's a good idea. You know, it has to be a real dog that can be a functional dog, because that dog is going to need to eat. You know, you're going to have to kind of watch for it. So,
feed them the blood of the trespassers.
Yeah, just it's going to be more of a pain than an advantage, I think, unless it's a trained dog. Now, as far as race goes, I'm not that much into dogs that I could tell you, hey, this race over that race or whatever.
A fuzzy one, right?
A poodle.
Maybe a chunky one, so in case I need to eat it, it will feed me for a while.
Well, I could go after rabbits and stuff for you. Scare out game.
Yeah, it has to be trained.
Oh, who dropped their glass?
Oh, snap.
Don't be wasting the alcohol.
It's already gone.
He threw the glass. I'm done.
All right. We are down to the last 15. Who has the next question? Freedom, you have been quiet. What do you got? Anything?
Well, I don't have any questions. I have lots of answers, and my answer is usually just shoot them. And I'll be. My wife and I, from time to time, have gone on to the website, JD, and we've looked at some of the sample cards, and we'll talk about, what would we do in this situation, and it always boils down to you have to imagine, if you don't take care of a prospective threat, will they come back at a later time and cause you harm and maybe bring friends? And, if there's no rule of law and we talk about a total breakdown, I can envision a wild, wild west scenario that could be very difficult to stay alive. So just shoot.
Absolutely. I think people, you got to add to your library the Prince by Machiavelli. That's the world that you all, and including myself, are going to be living in after the crap hits the fan. It's the survival of the fittest and the strongest, and you just got to read the book to understand why, it's better to be feared than loved, and it's the safest thing you can do is to eliminate the threat completely so it doesn't come back after you. But that doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do, It's definitely the safest. So somewhere in the middle, there'll be your truth, when it's happening to you, when you're living the situation. But it really depends. We've been doing this show with Larry for over a year, and we had so many people give us different answers for the same kind of question. People who would, hey, I would never shoot anybody. I would just approach them and see what's going on. I would talk.
Yeah, I mean, there was one chick who we talked about. You come up upon a bus full of inmates that just broke out of prison. You remember what I'm talking about. And
kill them all! Just kill them!
No, that was us. She was like, oh no, we'd get them off and we'd talk to them and see what and it's like, talk to them? Are you crazy?
I'd make him some cookies, with and we'd just sing Kumbaya together. But, you live in a different world with different rules, after that happens. And if you want to be safe, you're going to have to make some tough decisions.
Well, because your neighbor will come to your door and they're going to have the sad puppy dog face and they're going to be hungry, and you're going to give them a can of beans maybe and some rice, and they're going to leave thinking, wow, he's got more than that and I'm mad. So no matter what, you're never going to be able to satisfy the person who wants what you have. And so when you send that person away, he could be the guy that sneaks back at night and causes you or your wife or family harm. And that's why it's going to be a terrible, terrible situation. And if you make a mistake of judgment, it could cost you your life.
Yeah, and it's not just your neighbors that you're going to have to watch back with. It's going to be people that you thought you could trust.
Right. And that goes into a whole nother discussion, which obviously we won't have enough time tonight, but there's always the conversation about prepper group versus lone wolf prepper. And it's going to be very difficult to trust anybody short of them being your family or a lifelong friend.
Nope, bull. I call bull on that one. It doesn't matter if they're your family. It doesn't matter, period.
You don't trust them either.
No. Well, no, I don't. Not anymore. No. There's no way.
Then I agree, because my wife and I are of the belief that, contrary to what most folks would recommend, we would go it alone, and our biggest concern is how do we secure our property as much as we have, just the two of us. It's not possible. So that's our biggest concern.
I think when it comes right down to it, you're not going to know how anyone reacts until it's at that moment.
So you're a lone wolf too?
Not by choice. Let's just say recently it's come to light that even your spouse you can't trust. But
oh boy.
Yeah. So it is what it is. It's reality. Better to find out now than after the grid. The grid does go down, and you have to turn around and realize that somebody that you love dearly could possibly shoot you. Who knows? But I had a lady on when I first started the show, 2 years ago almost, and she was talking about how she was raped by someone within her prepper group.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
So you think you have a trusted group of friends, and you're there with your husband, and his best friend decides he is entitled to what you have. I mean, it sucks. It really does. But we're talking about now. We're not even talking about a high-stress situation. Can you imagine how people are going to react when they haven't eaten, when they haven't had any water, when they haven't, they've seen their children killed, who knows what?
Well, being a lone wolf prepper was easier for us because we are so secluded. But if I had to, live in a typical subdivision or in the city or any metropolitan area, I don't know. You either have to have a group or you need to plan on running at the first sign of trouble.
Well, I used to think the group thing was the way to go. I really do. But I'm going to have to. It's going to take a lot for me to get back into that mentality. I can tell you that. That's for sure. But we're down to the last, looks like 7 minutes. So why don't you guys go through and tell everybody where you're from and where they can find you at. And Freedom will let you go first.
Okay, thank you. Well, we have freedompreppers.com. We're on Twitter at Freedom Preppers, and of course Freedom Preppers on Facebook. We've just recently started submitting and writing articles to the American Preppers Network, so we're pretty happy with our relationship with those guys. And we try to research as much as we can. We spread the word with the intent of helping new preppers, people who may not be that experienced. There are a lot of people, survivalists and preppers out there. Most of them know more than I do. But what I try to do is take my time to learn as much as I can, compile the information into a coherent written article, and then share it on the web in whatever form I can.
Awesome. Thank you. The more people we get out there that can spread the word and get people ready, the less ammo we have to use later, right?
Absolutely.
Alika?
Keeping it simple with HCFready.com. Prepping forum. We discuss how to prep and survive. We keep the alphabet soup agency theories out, and we focus on the important bits. You all heard of the ant and the grasshopper story. We teach you to be the ant.
And my favorite geek.
Geek Prepper, giving you the edge when shit hits the fan. I can cuss now because we're almost done. We don't regurgitate all the stuff. I mean, I see the same 5 articles every week 1,000 times. We really get into different stuff and take you outside the box and make you think. So yeah, check us out, geekprepper.org. And then in the chat room I put all our other resources, which are also listed on our website. Come check us out.
Awesome. JD?
Conflictedthegame.com. Get there through conflictedthegame.com/prepperchicks. And, especially now, it's a good time to give the gift of preparedness to people and just get them talking, So I appreciate being here in this show, and thank you, everybody, for your support.
All right, one question to take us out. If you guys could have one superpower, what would it be? So, who wants to go first?
I'll do it.
Invisibility.
Me too.
Really? Invisibility?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Why?
Recon, you could see and learn anything you needed to. You could disappear at a moment's notice if you're in a pinch. I mean, that would be awesome. Plus, you could totally hang out with all the cool people. They just wouldn't know you were there.
You just want to see him naked.
Well, yeah, definitely be like,
Let's be honest here.
Yes, somewhat. I was an adolescent at one time, yes.
Somebody's seen Porky's.
There was
Stick
a
it
mole
through the
on
hole. Stick it through the hole. Freedom. Why invisibility?
I'm absolutely with John. Invisibility, the ability to have ultimate camo. There's no way that you could lose if you could turn yourself invisible on a dime.
Clay Aiken knows that.
Or somebody in the chat room says time travel.
Ooh.
Well,
touche, doctor.
Okay.
Time travel. Who would go to?
How fast can you travel? I mean, can you just click your fingers and go back, and then redo it again real fast, and move?
Would you end up like the Terminator, naked on the other side?
What is it with you people are naked?
I would. It'd be me.
After dark.
That's right.
No.
Rated Triple G.
Alika, what's your superpower?
I think I'd want to do teleportation. If I knew something was on the other side of that compound, just think about it, get into the room, quickly get out with it. I think it'd be a very handy superpower.
So, what would you be able to get in through walls and doors and all that stuff?
Yes. Just be able to get through...
Beam yourself anywhere.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. Man, I don't know what I would want. Time travel would be nice, because I'd like to go back and smack a few people. But,
I
man.
smack a lot of people.
Light them up. I don't know. Maybe...
Who would time travel to Kenya in 1960 to see what happened?
To see our Savior be born? Oh, wait.
No comment. Hey, he's there for a reason. It all has to play out.
The Rothschilds got to have something there.
Oh, the Rothschilds. You Illuminati people.
I'm a Freemason.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Degrees here in the chat room said make gold from sand. That power already exists. It's made from paper, and only the Federal Reserve has it. Don't try it at home. They'll take you away, lock you up. Only they can do this kind of stuff.
I have rolls of that stuff in my bathroom, by the way. It's white and fluffy.
What it's worth, too.
Yeah, we're just killing time right now.